All right, so you'll notice on here the title is percent change. Prior to the CDB, we spent a little time, kind of rush time, going over how to calculate that percent increase or percent decrease, or like the percent proportion portion of it, because we wanted you to have that information. And now we're coming back and actually just slowing it down just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to look at how do we calculate percent increase and decrease to include tax, tips, and discounts. All right, so I want to start with, I'm going to use the sidebar here. That's going to be this particular part. We're going to list some things there to kind of help us organize the information on the right-hand side of that. So the first thing is going to be that we're going to calculate. So this is going to show us how to calculate percent increase or decrease. So these are the steps involved in that. Make sure you're writing it down. So we had watched a video that kind of went over a scenario where she was showing us how you take the two quantities, the new and your original, and then you find the difference, and then you place that over the original amount. And we're going to rewrite that here. So we're going to take the difference, which means we're subtracting, between the new and original, okay? So it could be the new original cost, the new or original amount, the new or an original total, whatever, however that's described, but just know that you're looking at the new and the original. That's a parenthesis. Looks a little, like a little bracket. So we're going to find that difference, and we're going to place that over the original amount. Okay. What does the fraction tell us to do? What operation? Debbie? To divide, right? It reminds us that we're using division, and when we divide, we end up getting an answer that is in decimal form. And we know how to take a decimal and convert it to a percent. Okay, so understand that it's starting as a fraction, right? We'll find that difference and put it over the original. It's a fraction. We're going to convert it to a decimal and then to the percent. Everybody good? It's okay. It's gym class over there. All right, so let's look at an example of a percent increase. Okay, so let's say there's an item and you saw it originally priced, so the original price was $50. Okay, then you go back to the same store and you notice that they have the same item, but this time with a new price, and the new price is $60. Okay. The first thing we want to determine is this an increase or decrease? It's an increase. When you look at the original and the new price is more, that means it is an increase. So I'm just going to add an arrow. This arrow is just visually to help me remember that at the end, I should be saying it's whatever percentage increase, okay? We're going to find the difference over the original, So the difference here, y'all, the two numbers are 50 and 60, and so you always want to make sure you just write the larger number first. And the original number in this case is 50. So we have 60 minus 50. What is that?
10.
Okay. And then that's going to be placed over the original amount of 50. Okay, now it's a fraction. Okay. Can I simplify that before going on? Yes. What would you reduce that to?
5.
By 2 or by 5 or by 10, right? And so what would that reduce to? 1/5. If you started with the 2, you would reduce it and then realize, oh wait, I can do something else, go by the 5. We're still going to end up with the same answer, okay? As long as you don't stop simplifying too soon. From here, I would turn this into a decimal. We remember how to do that? What operation again? Division. Which number goes in the house?
1.
The 1, our numerator. Okay. And then we would divide it out. What's the answer here going to be, guys?
10.
Yeah, 2 tens, not 5. 5 doesn't go into 1, so we had to add the decimal and bring it up and add another 0. Okay? So it's 2 tenths. So now we have the fraction, the decimal, but I need the percentage. What is this percent?
20%.
20%. Yes, we're going to move that decimal point 2 units to the right. It's the same thing as multiplying by 100. And this is going to be a 20% increase, right? Because the price went up from the original. Okay. We okay? All right, here we go. Example 2. Example 2 is going to deal with a percent decrease. Oops. Okay, so let's say we went to the store and we saw something we wanted and the original price is $50. Okay. And we went back a couple days later and they have a new price for that same item. And this time it is $30. Okay. What are we going to start with first? Is this an increase or a decrease? This is a decrease. Again, my arrow is just a visual to help me remember this is a decrease. I'm going to take the difference between the new and the original, and I'm going to place that over the original amount. Okay, and then we'll go into our fraction decimal percent conversion there. So 50 minus 30 over 50. What is 50 minus 30? 20. And the original is 50. So now we have 20 over 50. Can I reduce that? Yes. What would that be reduced? 2/5. Okay. From here, can I make it into a decimal? Yes. How would we do that? Divide. What's that answer going to be? What is it? 4 tenths, right? If you're not sure, that 2's here, the 5's on the outside, and you're going to set it up, right, as you work it out, okay? And then 4 tenths as a percent is 40%, and this is a 40%, what's our arrow? Decrease, so 40% decrease. Make sense? Okay, any questions on this one? All right, let's move on. So you're going to actually be writing on the left-hand side of your journal now. So we want to continue with this. right? So I'm writing on my opposite page. Y'all see me? The opposite side of where you just took your notes, okay? So we're going to talk about sales tax, tips, and discounts, okay? And see how can we apply the same thing here. So let's start with that little title. I got sales tax and tips. Let's think for a minute. Are sales tax and tips added to our amount or taken away from our amount? They're added too, right? And so this amount is going to be added to our original amount. Okay, so let's look at, if I have a TV, don't get caught up trying to draw a fancy TV, okay? If I have a TV and the cost of the TV, the ticket price is $900, okay? And then by the sign, you kind of have this other little posting saying plus 8% tax. There are two different pieces that we have to consider, and I'm going to show you with a model first, okay? Let's show a model here. This would be the TV cost. If I paid the entire amount of my TV cost, according to this, it's going to be $900. And if I paid $900, that is 100% of the amount. Does everybody agree? Okay, that little last percent. Okay, and this is 0%. This would be $0. Okay, since tax and tip is added on, it's going to be an amount that is added to the total. I want you to see this. This is the tax. Okay, and how much was our tax?
8%.
Yeah, it's 8% of that original amount. Okay, so we're going to be adding 8% to that. So we need to figure out what is that amount. We're not quite sure yet. We got to figure it out. Okay. So remember, we learned in pre-AP, we learned about percent proportions. Okay, so we're going to use a percent proportion here and then add that back to our original amount. Okay, so let's set up our structure. What's the structure we use to organize? The one structure, the WON. Okay, we'll use this structure, and then we're going to set up that proportion to solve this. So really what we're looking for right now is we want to know what is 8% of 900, right? That's the question we need to know so that we can figure out how much it's going to cost us in the end for this. Okay, so this is the part and this is the whole. Since it's a percent proportion, we know the 100 goes here because that would be 100%. Looking at our scenario, it says what is 8% of 900. Where does that 8% go? Right under the N above the 100, right? It's going to go there, okay? Now, 900, is that the part or the whole? That's the whole. That's the entire amount. So that's going to go down here, and we're looking for this one, okay? From here, we take the proportion out of the box, and we solve it using cross products, right? Multiply these two, and then I divide it by this one. What's 8 times 900? Yep, I hear you. 7,200. And I'm going to divide it by 100. Right? It's a fraction. It's like, it looks like this. Those two things, this and this, are saying the same thing. Okay? How many times is 100 going to go into 7,200? 72 times. If you remember the rule for dividing, I could divide. It's going to cross those off, right? They cancel out. So we end up with 72. Is 72 my answer? No. What does 72 represent? It represents the tax. So what do I do now? What did we say in our model we had to do with it? Add it to the original amount. So how much are we going to pay for this TV? $972. Everybody see that? We got to add that original cost in here. And now our total together is going to be $972. You would do this with tax. You would do this with tips. Any amount that has to be added to your total is going to be solved like this. Okay? Any questions on this part? I'm trying to see how much time we have. We get out at 53? Yes? How about I give you this? I'm going to give you a problem to write down, and I want you to try it out. We will revisit it tomorrow, but let me... Oh, I need another page. Let's see. So hopefully you didn't write as big as me. I'm going to give you another problem just to consider. This time it's a discount. Are discounts added to or subtracted from your original cost?
Subtracted.
Yes. So let's at least get that. These are subtracted from the original cost. Okay. This time we have a TV that costs $270, but there's a nice coupon that says it is 35% off. Woohoo for coupons. Okay. We will continue here tomorrow. I want you to think about this problem before then.